Okay. Next up, we have Josh Hendrix from CV Sciences. His presentation is Hemp CBD, What Are You Waiting For? Josh Hendrix relocated back to central Kentucky in 2014 on a mission to help rebuild the U.S. hemp industry. He founded the Kentucky Hemp Industries Association, a state chapter of the HIA, and started growing hemp on his family's Mayflower farm. Since then, he joined and still serves on the board of directors for the U.S. Hemp Roundtable, the National Hemp Association, and Friends of Hemp. Currently, Mr. Hendrix serves as the director of domestic hemp production for CV Sciences. And with that, here's Josh.
Thank you, Colleen.
Here's your...
Yeah, so this is going to be hard to follow. Jonathan is my favorite attorney. I don't say that about many attorneys, but he's my favorite. I was one of those 4 dudes in his basement a couple years ago when we started the U.S. Hemp Roundtable, and I think we've come such a long way, and we're sitting in this room today, and it's amazing to see how far we've come. So I've been traveling around the country. Somebody told me the other day I sounded tired, and I immediately responded. I said, yeah, it's been a long year. Like, not a long day, not a long week. It's been a long year. I've done 30 different trips around the country this year, to give talks and to give consumer lectures and get with stores and try to convince them that hemp CBD is here to stay. Jonathan gives me a lot of ammunition when it comes to that. He kind of tempers me down a lot when it comes to, hey, let's go get arrested. I really want to push that envelope as much as I can because, what we've seen as a company at CV Sciences with Indiana is a prime example. When Indiana said, oh, hemp-derived CBD is illegal, and the news was saying health food stores raided for cannabis oil, and they were showing slow pans of plus CBD oil, I wasn't scared. I was fist pumping across my living room because I knew that was going to change the game, and that is really what we need everywhere. We need that federally. We need to get this farm bill passed, but we need, we're seeing it every day with state-by-state issues, and I think, getting people to understand that this is disruptive, but this is positive disruption. This isn't something that is hurting anyone. It's not going to do any damage. The World Health Organization, all the support we've gotten from the different groups and the HIA and all these different things has been mind-boggling, really. And when you look at the sales numbers, you start to see that we really and truly have this opportunity in our hand to disrupt so many industries and do so much good. I saw this documentary, the Defiant ones, about Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine and how they kind of revolutionized the music industry. And at the end, Bruce Springsteen says, when you're doing something that's never been done before, you have to be unapologetically determined. And that's how we've gone about it. And that's how all these businesses you see behind me, all these names, they've been that way. They don't apologize for doing this because they know that they're doing something positive. And that's the point that I'm going to try to make today. Jonathan stole most of my presentation. I usually give the same similar talk about this is coming. We've won every battle. We don't ask for permission. We keep pushing the envelope forward. And we've done that because it's crazy. I mean, how many of you guys are in the hemp-derived CBD business already? How many of you are thinking about getting in? What are you waiting for? You've already missed. I mean, literally, this thing has exploded overnight. We had a talk with we had a group that was managing our sales team, and they were trying to take credit for our growth. And I was like, no, this is just simple market growth. Like, we're lucky to keep our head above water these days. And I think that's what the point I want to make to everyone in this room. Hemp is coming. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, the train's moving down the tracks, however you want to phrase it. This is coming. And you look at the numbers. I got it right here, I guess. But, I got all these graphs, and I don't like to do slides. And HIA knows that I think I turned them in at about 30 minutes ago. But I don't like to keep up with slides, but you just look at the simple charts. There's nothing but positive growth. The growth of this industry is unexplainable almost. And to get people to keep up with this stuff, really, what are you waiting for? That's my question. And I think getting people to understand the opportunity we have. I go back to that slide with the leaf in the hand. I mean, we have this opportunity in our hand to disrupt the world. You see the Steve Jobs movie when they say, what are we going to do next? He says, we're going to put a dent in the universe. The people in this room and the people behind this conference and behind the companies that support this industry are putting a dent in the universe. And I think that's the kind of passion we all need to leave here with. We're all gathered to better the hemp industry. And as Jonathan said, this isn't about credit. This isn't about doing something for yourself. This is about doing something because a rising tide rises all ships. I was part of that roundtable. When I started the Kentucky Hemp Industries Association, I saw a need for the industry to bring people together. And I think that is what we all have to do. If at first everyone was like, oh, I don't want to tell anybody what I'm doing. I've got this great idea, and I'm going to be the first to do X, Y, and Z. No, this is a legality question. This is legislative. There's things that need to be changed and things that need to be put in place, and you're not going to do that by yourself. The roundtable was 4 guys in a basement. Now it's 50 companies, 50 people, all collaborating, talking, answering questions, and getting people to understand that this is going to happen. It's a matter of when, not if. And getting people to move that forward and doing it as a group has been the most important thing we've done in the past couple of years. But you look at the market share. I mean, you look at how people are doing it. And we were very proud to be listed right there next to CW with 12 and 11% of the market share. And I think you're seeing these other companies coming along. I say it every day to our team. This thing's coming. Other companies are doing innovative, creative things. You've got to be on your game. But you've also got to be collaborative. You can't be individual in this. There's no company that's going to rule the world. I mean, if it is, they're not in the hemp game yet. Think Johnson & Johnson and Coca-Cola. I get Google alerts every day. And it seems like every week now it's Bloomberg, Forbes, real people writing articles about how the hemp industry is coming. And it's because of folks like Jonathan. I laughed and think about 5 years ago when we started lobbying. And we went to D.C. and Jonathan's obviously a professional attorney. He's really, really liberal, in case you didn't know. But we're lobbying Republicans, and I was like, man, how's this going to work? How are we even going to get in these offices? And Rand Paul and Senator McConnell and these other guys opened the doors because this is not a partisan issue. This is a nonpartisan issue. It's not bipartisan. It's nonpartisan. You got Ron Wyden, you got Senator McConnell, and you got Senator Paul, who don't agree on anything. Ever. And they all agree on this because it's good for the farmer, it's good for the economy, it's good for everybody. And I think getting people to understand that that's where this is going and that's where this is coming from is the most important thing about this conference. We gather every year at the HIA conference and we talk about pushing the industry forward. Well, let's really do that. Join the hempsupporter.com. If you're not checking out that website, then you're missing out. I look at this timeline, and I have a radio show called the Hemp Happy Hour. It's on podcasts, shameless promo. Definitely check that out. But, I look at this timeline, and I did an interview with Michael Mona III and Chris Moria, who are 2 of the founders, and Mr. Mona, M3's dad, is one of the third one. But you look at how far we've come. We were the first company to be at Expo East and Expo West. And it was hard. It was hard to get in. They didn't want CBD. Now they're having CBD summits at the natural products industry, right? I mean, this is not going anywhere. This is going to change. You're talking about the Council for Responsible Nutrition, all these big players. Jonathan mentioned the American Herbal Products Association. Everyone's looking at CBD. And you look at the timeline, I mean, plus CBD oil, quite frankly, might be the hottest product to ever hit the natural products industry. Ever. I mean, you look at spins. We were number 2 in spins in like a year and a half. We're only in 25% of the natural product stores. Nordic Naturals is in 100% of those stores, and they're number 1. We're number 2 in all supplements. That's not going to change. That's not going to go anywhere, and people need to get on board. I'm not going to go through these slides because it doesn't really make as much sense as I thought I did when I was putting them together this morning. But I think the point that I want to get across is the market is there. There's an opportunity for everyone in this room to have a place in this industry. And I think getting people to see that and understand you're not going to get another opportunity like this. I say it all the time. Everyone's like, how do you do it? They keep up with me on Instagram or whatever, and they see me. I'm here, I'm there, I'm here, I'm here, And they say, how do you do it? Because we're only going to get one shot at this. I'm not going to rest right now because there's only going to be one November 2018 and one December. And, the time you waste is lost. And I think this opportunity is too big, too big to fail, whatever you want to call it. I know Doug Fine's probably going to be here with Hempbound talking about too high to fail and all that. I mean, that's where this has got to go. This has to be something where you are unapologetically determined. And I think we saw it in Indiana. We've seen it in other states. We've never lost a battle. And they're not necessarily battles. They're educational opportunities. And when we get that opportunity to educate, the sky's the limit. California is the 7th largest economy in the world. it's our number 2 state because we haven't had the publicity like we had in Indiana. Indiana is our number 1 state for plus CBD oil because we disrupted the market. We had all those news stories. There, no PR is bad PR. I truly believe that. And I think getting people to understand that if you're not doing this, you're wasting time. This market exists. I mean, you can look at these slides and look at all the different charts and see, we're tracking this now. We're actually getting real results from people. You're going to see our quarterly reports come out for the 3rd quarter. You've seen it for the second, every quarter in the past. It's insane. I mean, it really is insane. And I go back to that story with the sales team. They're trying to take credit for our growth, and it's simple market growth. I mean, this is about a mover's advantage, and I think the market's there to stay. So I'm sure people have questions. I'm just going to skim through these. But, the most important thing that we've done as a company has been being involved in these organizations. He mentioned the American Oil Products Association, the HIA, the round table has obviously been the most important. So please, please, please get involved in this industry. If you're a company, if you're a farmer, an individual, at least put your email address on hempsupporter.com so you can keep up with what's going on and actually understand, the real happenings in the hemp industry. So with that, I'll take any questions and we'll get the program moving on.
Will this be available to folks?
I don't know, Colleen? I can give it to you. Just give me a card. Anybody else?
Your new gummy line, how does it compare to other gummy lines on the market?
It's better. The gummy was there was a lot of research that went into that. It's hard to get that flavor just right. But I would say less sugar than most and probably a little bit more refined flavor. I hope that's a good answer.
With all the increased production, what do you see to overall pricing for CBD oil?
Well, so, normally my talk is about making this a commodity. And I think that's going to happen. I didn't want to get too deep in the weeds on that because, you got every country in the world's producing hemp. They're doing it from certified seed, they're doing it with mechanical harvesting, and they're doing large-scale drying and extraction. I think that's where the bottleneck is right now. Everyone's trying to figure out a way to not do it like tobacco. I mean, you're going to hear people today talk about helping the small tobacco farmer in Kentucky, and that's just wrong. I mean, that's not going to happen. This is going to be a commodity crop. It's going to be grown at large scale, and you're going to have to mechanically harvest and process. And so with that, obviously, the price starts dropping. So if you're in the production business and you're not looking at producing hemp at a price per, gram even, kilo, whatever, however you want to break it down, you're not thinking 5 years from now, you're thinking next year. And I think you're going to have an oversupply. You're going to have a bottleneck with processing that's only going to be fixed with federal legislation and things like that, and more investment comes in. So yeah, I mean, the price is going to drop, and you got to be able to figure out the margins if you want to play in this game. They're talking about in Canada right now with the legal cannabis thing. I mean, they ran out in a day, and I always joke and say there's never going to be a shortage of cannabis ever again. You just got to figure out the fastest, most efficient way to get it into the supply chain. So our soft gel is number 1. Our gold soft gel is our number 1 seller, and I would say it's about 30% of all of our SKUs, and we have almost 50 SKUs. So I think we put out a couple of videos. Some of our stores have always said, "Oh, we didn't bring the gold in because we didn't think it would sell well," and then it's our best, it's our best seller. So people are looking for that stronger version. People are definitely looking for more bang for their buck, if you will, and I think. The majority of the people taking CBD, I apologize for running through those slides. I just didn't want to get gummed up and all that, but is they're taking it because they're trying to correct something. They have a serious issue. So they're not there for the daily supplement of the green or the herbal aspirin of the raw. They're there for the gold and the most powerful thing, and that's what they end up getting.
So you mentioned that the bottleneck was processing. I was hoping you could give additional details how you're doing your processing.
Yep.
And where you think maybe your efficiency increases.
Yeah. So what you're seeing right now is a lot of people growing clones, spending a lot of money on plants to get started and put them in maybe in the field, maybe in the greenhouse, and then harvesting those by hand, drying them in a barn, stripping the green material off there, and CO2 extracting it or ethanol extraction or whatever. What we did, and it goes back to 2012 before hemp was legal in the U.S., is they were already growing hemp for fiber in Europe. There was a lot of green bud on the top of those plants, and so they basically made a retrofitted combine and went in and stripped the tops off those plants. They dried it in a kiln, just like you would hops, which is a big warehouse that's about 100 degrees, and they keep it moving, keep it circulating to keep it from mildewing. Once that happens, then we CO2 extract it just in a big hops facility in Germany, and we import that material in the raw crude form, and then we formulate in San Diego. So to answer your question, no one's doing that. That's the problem. Everyone's trying to recreate the wheel, and there's just no need for that. I mean, if I can, it's just like the fiber industry. If I can go get canaf fiber material for $10 a pound, or I can go get hemp fiber material for $15 a pound, what do you think I'm going to start making stuff out of? Canaf. So I think that's where the hemp industry's going. That's where the market's going, is large-scale, mechanically harvested, large-scale drying facilities, and then the CO2 extraction facilities are just going to get bigger and bigger, and it's going to be about scale. It's going to be how much throughput you can get every day, things like that. So her question was that pharmaceutical CBD products are the only ones going to be allowed in steam and water extraction?
Saying that pharmaceutical companies going forward will only allow equipment or CBD derived from steam or water, not from any kind of solvent, which knocks out ethanol and CO2. Can you address that and increase that?
I know nothing about that, so I would assume that's nonsense. I think a lot of us in the industry would agree that there's swim lanes, and Bob Hoban's probably here somewhere, and he's probably going to talk about this later. But you're going to have hemp food, hemp nutraceuticals, and then pharmaceuticals. And I think it'll probably be a weight basis. So anything that's 90% CBD or high, I'm just throwing these numbers out there, but there'll be swim lanes, and it'll be based on how much CBD is in the product. But no, I don't think there'll be any restrictions on how. What kind of extraction methods are in those swim lanes, I guess is how I'd answer that.
What role do you think Big Pharma plays in this industry, and how the Farm Bill passes, how long
Jonathan, you want to come back up here? No, I think it's yet to be determined, but I think it's very obvious that everyone's got their eyes on us. You're seeing it with the alcohol industry, the tobacco industry. Big anything has their eye on hemp. And I think, to think about where we were 4 years ago and where we are now, imagine where we'll be 4 years from now, and you'll start to see those names really, really prevalent and probably sitting in these rooms going forward. Nobody else? I'm out of time. Oh. Yeah, we are. So we, something I probably should have said in my talk. We are the first company to have self-determined GRAS status, which is generally recognized as safe. We did that with our gold product, which is our strongest, highest concentration. So we feel like if that's safe, then everything else is. And through that, we had to go through people reporting, if you would, people reporting on different serious adverse event reporting, which we had none of. When Tylenol came out, people died. We had hundreds and hundreds of people that were part of this study, and not one person even went to the hospital with any serious issues. There's, some people had some slight side effects, maybe an upset stomach, or they got really sleepy or drowsy, or something that they weren't expecting, but no serious events. And through that, we learned a lot about our products through the World Health Organization's report that these are safe and harmless and non-intoxicating and all that stuff. But then the next step for us is consumer reporting, and we're working with a company. I guess I can't really make that announcement yet, but definitely going to be getting some consumer data that really deep dives into why they're taking it, what they're taking, how much they're taking, because this is brand new. 2 years ago, you could go to, you could go look up research studies on CBD, and there was 100, 150. Now there's 2,500, 3,000. It's just growing every day, just like just like the market. So I think you're going to see more and more studies, but I think that direct consumer reporting that you're talking about is the next step, and that's something we're excited about. And I know some other companies in here are working with the same group. I love this question.
Well, answer it. Tell me about it.
So I think, I forget where I gave this, I gave a talk about this, but I said, find me a law that says I can't put something on a label and stick it on a bottle. I mean, you could put crack on there and call it crack if you, I mean, it doesn't mean that there's crack in there. You know, I get all the time health departments and people call me, or the stores usually call me because a health department or somebody local came in and said, oh, you can't sell this because it says CBD on the label. And there's other people's products that are probably in this room that are sitting right next to it that just say hemp extract. I'm like, well, if you took them both and you tested the contents of the bottle, they both have CBD in them, right? Why would you care so much about the label? That's not a real, that's just a made up thing that someone said. Why can't I put CBD on the label? So us, obviously we draw more attention to ourselves because plus CBD is in big block letters on the label, but we like that attention. It helps with sales. But I think, saying you can't put something on the label is asinine, quite frankly, because when did it become about the label and not about the contents of the product? So I recommend everyone put CBD on the label. It certainly helps with sales. But I think it's just like when people say CBD is a controlled substance. Find me those 3 letters on the Controlled Substance Act. Find me the law, and Jonathan might be able to find one, that says I can't put that thing on a label. I can't put those 3 letters on a label because it doesn't exist. And until someone finds that and shows it to me, and our FDA attorneys, who are very highly paid and well knowledgeable about this industry, tell us to take it off, we're not going to do it. So I hope that answers your question.
I get the sense that Israel's a few years ahead of us with regards to the depth of research. Why aren't we pulling from that research? Or is that proprietary and there's a reason that we're not talking about a lot of the things that they've already been through because they're fully government supported?
So it's a little bit of both. Some of that's private, as you mentioned, but some of us are paying really close attention to that research. And Israel is light years ahead of us in cannabis research in general. So I agree. We should definitely be looking at that, utilizing that, pulling that research. And we need to catch up. But I think the problem, and Dr. Williams from UK and some of these other universities would agree, hemp's still a controlled substance, right? So they can't get research dollars to figure out how to grow it or figure out what it's good for and all this stuff. These universities that we support wholeheartedly. We're one of the leading supporters of University of Kentucky, one of the leading supporters of Murray State. We're really excited about partnering with Patagonia and Dr. Bronner's on the organic hemp research at the Rodell Institute. And that's just the growing side of it. The research on the uses, the UK has a wonderful pharmacy school and all these things, and they would love to research it, but it's not like, you can go get $1 million grant to research tobacco, which we know is probably not that great for us, but you can't get a dime for hemp because it's a controlled substance. So we're working hard to fix that with the roundtable and in DC so that, these universities and places where those studies need to happen can actually go after real money, not us throwing 50 grand at it when they need 1.5 million. Yes.
So, you or any industry leaders are do a process.
Yeah, we certainly are, and we were the first to finish. We're not the first to, or we were the first to get started as well. We were the first to finish. Other companies are going through that process right now with some of the same folks that we did because it's important. It's important for people to know this is safe, and so yes, we definitely are, and I know everyone else is following suit when it comes to that and trying to push that further and further because you can go around and scream to till your lungs run out that CBD is non-harmful, non-intoxicating. Look at the World Health Organization. Look at this. Look at our grass self-determination. But until, my old talk used to be no one's going to give you a permission slip to change the world. But there's a lot of people waiting on that piece of paper that says, hey, the FDA doesn't care about this or the DEA doesn't care about this. And we know they don't care. I mean, the DEA's got better things to worry about. The FDA is, I've talked to people in the FDA. They're like, we can't stop you. I mean, they could come out tomorrow and say CBD is illegal, can't be anywhere. But who's going to enforce that? Who's actually going to go to these stores and do that? So To answer your question, yes, we are trying to do everything we can to, that the U.S. Hemp Authority and everything that everybody's working on to really solidify this industry and solidify our products as well as the other products on the market. Did I answer them all? All right, we're good?